Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're exploring the journey of integration. Specifically, we're completely rethinking grief. It's a really profound look at how we process sorrow. We're not looking at it as some illness that needs to be cured, but as a deeply human experience of figuring out exactly who we are when a vital part of us is suddenly just gone.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about that totally disorienting shock of initial loss. When we lose someone, it isn't just that they're gone. It literally feels like pieces of our own identity have detached and just scattered. You aren't just missing a person, you're missing the entire version of yourself that existed with them. Seeing parts of yourself flying away in all these different directions, well, it's just such a raw feeling of fragmentation. We so often take the sheer vibrancy of living for granted, that smell of life presence in the air, until it's abruptly pulled away from us. It's this incredibly heavy, confusing period where just trying to find your footing feels pretty much impossible.
And this brings us to a really painful paradox in those early stages of grief. You're caught right between the life that moved away and the memories that stayed. It's incredibly difficult to find strength when you feel so distant from the life you knew, right? You're anchored by these really heavy memories, yet those very same memories are exactly what you have to use to move forward. It's all about wanting to reach out to the past, even when it feels completely out of grasp.
Now, what's really interesting here is how we completely reframe our definition of grief. Imagine feeling your grief with care, treating it as a way of being in an actual relationship with your past. Grief is no longer the enemy here. It's not a problem to solve or some phase you just get over. No, it's an ongoing, deeply honest relationship. By caring for our grief, we're actually taking care of ourselves and honoring our history.
We can actually categorize the origins of our sorrow into what the text calls attached pieces. So some griefs are a result of our own actions. Some are caused by other people's presence or their absence. But the absolute hardest griefs, those are the ones fully ingrained in our being. Losing those pieces leaves us feeling so profoundly displaced, almost like absolutely nothing we do can change reality. That feeling of complete helplessness, it's just so real and so isolating.
But how does this ingrained grief exist day to day? Well, think of it like a life garden. Grief is really mysterious. It doesn't fully disappear. It doesn't really get easier, and it doesn't even change its shape. Instead, when it gets tired, it just goes out to sit in the garden. It's still part of the same house, it's just resting. You can have a completely normal, even happy day, but your grief is still there, just quietly resting in the yard.
And that really highlights the absolute necessity of acceptance. In grief, the sheer multitude, the volume of the love and the loss, it never really shrinks. But how often it overwhelms you, the frequency, that definitely shifts with time. This sad feeling, it's simply a permanent part of life. Making peace with this sadness requires actually feeling it with all of its energy, rather than constantly fighting against it.
Naturally, that leads to a massive internal struggle. You don't want to let go of familiar relationships, but at the exact same time, there's this intense desire to make sense of it all and be truly present today. If you've ever felt stuck between clinging to yesterday and desperately trying to live in today, you know exactly what this is. It is the ultimate push and pull of the human heart.
Here is where we hit a truly beautiful, surprising, philosophical pivot. On one hand, we have the stark reality. Life can be terribly unfair. It takes away our loved ones. But on the other side, there's a really profound realization. Sometimes, life places back a piece of you. Suddenly, having someone to miss isn't just a tragedy, it's an incredible blessing. So the crucial point is, you are lucky when you have something to miss. Think about the sheer power of that perspective for a second. The depth of your grief is exactly proportionate to the depth of your love. This is an incredible opportunity to have known love, to have truly felt life's presence. Realizing how incredibly lucky you are to carry them in your memories, that changes the entire landscape of loss.
To navigate this new landscape, we really need a vital tool, and that is gratitude. Gratitude is the attuned key that unlocks life alongside our griefs. It's about recognizing that some people go, some stay, some live within us, and some are left alone. As time and a new wind shift our memories, gratitude allows us to appreciate them. Cherishing the pain because it proves the love actually existed, that is a remarkably high level of emotional integration.
So how do we actually apply this key of gratitude practically? Well, the advice is stunningly clear. When love is physically present, make more memories. But when a part of you is gone, far away, make new memories. You don't stop living. You honor the people who are gone by continuing the act of creation, making new memories even right in the middle of their absence. And this brilliantly illustrates a final major shift in perspective. We move from that quiet, resting garden we talked about to an active, forward-looking classroom. Grief is no longer just something you carry around. It actively teaches you. It's actually the fertile soil where your future purpose and meaning truly take root.
Ultimately, we realize we're given two distinct parts in life. One part is given to deeply feel the grief and to honor the loss. But the other part? That's given to accept, grow, and move on. The goal is to have something meaningful with the absolute freedom to see it through. We aren't meant to be trapped by our loss. We're meant to integrate it and carry it forward into a life that still holds deep, deep significance.
Which brings us to our final thought. We've traced a roadmap from shattered fragmentation all the way to integrated meaning, and it asks us to stop fighting our sorrow and instead just sit with it and learn from it. So what about you? When that familiar sadness goes to sit in your life garden, are you able to look at it with gratitude? Are you willing to see your own grief as a profound lesson in life's classroom? It's a really challenging perspective for sure, but it might just be the exact key you need to truly move forward.